Ladies and gentlemen, the reason for calling for an emergency media briefing is because of the fighting that we had yesterday at the residence of the former SPA chief, General Akor Korkwich. I would like to go back a little bit for the story to flow. I do not want to rush to the main agenda that brought me here. All of you would recall that General Akol was appointed as the Director General of Internal Security Bureau in 2011, sorry. He served for 13 years in the same capacity, made very remarkable contributions in the docket. About a month ago or two, His Excellency the President exercised his prerogatives as the President of the Republic and relieved him. That is entirely his prerogative. Then appointed him as the governor of Warabi State, and later on, that appointment was revoked. About 2 weeks ago, there was a directive on the need for his movement to be restricted and be confined to his residence at Tongping residential area. And when that order was issued, a written order was delivered to him, and it was announced to him that his movement was being restricted. After that step was taken, other security measures were put in place to ensure his security and safety. Additional security forces were deployed outside of his residence. That was the first step that was taken. The second step was that the force that he had when he was still in power, when he was still the DG, and when he served briefly as the governor of Warabi State, the force that he had was also downsized to a reasonable force, and that force was deployed within his compound. So that meant there were two forces, one inside the compound and the second one outside of the compound, with different commands performing different roles, which is essentially is protection. Yesterday in the morning, or there in the afternoon, there was another directive. That directive was on the need for him to be relocated from his residential area in Tongping to his second residential area in Jabal. The heads of 4 units were called, and they were given the directive. Those who were directed included his successor, General Lakej, who was given the directive, then the Chief of Military Intelligence for SSPDF, and then the Commander of Tiger, as well as the Chief for Operations at SSPDF General Headquarters. All of them, the 4 of them, went to General Akor's residence and delivered to him a message on the need for him to relocate from Tongping to Jabal residential area. All what was required of him was that he was needed to relocate alone himself, with his family, his wife, and a bodyguard plus a senior officer that would be assigned to him in his second residential area. And let me make it very clear that he was not being effectively placed under house arrest. He was simply being told to relocate from Tongping to Jabal because of the presence of the security forces, the inconveniences the insecurity forces were causing in the area. You know, Tongping area has a lot of diplomatic missions. A lot of diplomats are residing in Tongping, and where the incident took place not very far from the residence of the American ambassador, and that area also has a lot of NGO. So the stationing of forces in the area had caused a lot of inconveniences in terms of freedom of movement and in terms of feeling at ease. After the message was delivered on the need for him to relocate, the commanders that were tasked with the responsibility left. Then there was a third force now that came on the scene to enforce the directive by way maybe of providing extra security and escorting him. Now the confusion started building up. The force within the perimeter wall, the force outside, the second force that had been deployed about 2 weeks earlier on, and the third that arrived at around 4 to 5. All of these forces are under different commands. And the element of this exercising proper command, control, and coordination somehow got lost in the middle. And while these elements became a little bit